Alright guys, so I'm going to really quickly show you how to save your books as a press ready document, PDF, so that you can send it or take it over to get it printed, however you need to go about that process. Um, I know that this is Virginia's book, and I'm going to put a bleed on it really quick just so that I can make sure that this works correctly, because I want to make sure you all have it set up properly. So if you do not have a bleed currently on your book, I think all of you do now. If you don't, you need to set one. Make sure you do that. So you'll have this red line around the outside of your book. Make sure that all of your borders go to that red line. I'll fix this one really quick. And I'll show you why it's important. And I'll show you what your final PDF needs to look like once this is done. Okay, so let's just fit this content to frame. Okay, so that's all the way out to the bleed. If you have a background that you put in InDesign, or just a plain background you put in with Illustrator, it can go beyond. You don't need to be right on that line. You just need to be to it or beyond it. Okay, so once you have your book all set up and it's right where you want it, um, also feel free to send me the PDFs of your books as you're changing things, if you want me to go over them and give you any last minute information before you print it. Noosa's already sent me hers once, and I've critiqued it, and I'll critique it as many times as you guys need. So don't feel like you guys have to like be one and done. Like, contact me as much as you need to about that, because I do want you guys to have books that you're proud of and that you want to show people and that make you happy, and that you can show um, as portfolio work if you need it, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the document where we're done. What you're going to do first is you're going to save as, and you're going to save this as whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to name this Virginia. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I will butcher it. And final version underscore 1 underscore 2024. So name it however you guys can remember. For me, this is the naming convention that I have the name, the book. It's the final version, and it's version 1 of the final version, because there's always a billion final versions. That's just how life goes. And then 2024. So save your InDesign document. Make sure that you know where you've saved it so that you can find the PDF. If you're unsure where you just saved it, you can go to Save As. It'll show you its location. So hers is currently on my computer in my external hard drive, in the folder for your class, in rough drafts, under Virginia's name, and then under her rough draft folder, because I just saved this into the folder that's there. Okay. So once you're all done, you're sure everything's good, you're going to go to File, Adobe PDF Presets, and then you're going to go to Press Quality. This whole list here will take you to this export menu, but what this does is this sets up all the presets you need. You don't have to go in and change anything. You don't have to do things to make it the way you want it. So a high quality print is good if you're doing like if there's like a lot of photos, or you're going to be putting it on a printer that needs those. In my work, the only two I've ever used is press quality and smallest file size. And this was just to send really large documents, like a magazine, to a client so they could review it and make sure I didn't make any mistakes or there wasn't anything they wanted to change. Press quality is what I used all the time to send things to the printers, and we sent high quality prints that way. We sent basically everything went press quality if it was being printed. So you're going to click on press quality, and it's going to ask you to save your book. So the reason I said to save it, the way you'll remember it, is it'll automatically default to that when you bring up the PDF. So it's going to already be Virginia, the name of the book, final version 1, 2024. So then we're going to click save, and it's going to bring up this page. Okay, so up here it says press quality, standard none. We don't need to know about that. Acrobat, that's fine. The big thing here is that we're going to go to this section. You're going to want to make sure all is selected. It doesn't matter if anything's written in here. You can change it to all pages if you want, but it's just a number I had in there for my range for something else I was saving, and it will remember that in InDesign. But as long as all is selected, all of your pages will be selected, no matter what's written in here. Then you're going to go to Export As, and we're not selecting pages, we're going to select spreads. And the reason we're selecting this one is because you guys are printing a book, and I want these two to print on the same page if it's possible. Because then we can staple in the middle or sew in the middle if you were going to sew your book together. Whereas if we do pages, every page would be separate, and then you'd have to staple on the outside or sew it on the outside. So it kind of just depends on what you're wanting to print. But for now, I would like to print spreads. If for some reason that cannot be done, um, you're just going to go back in and do the same process, and you'll select pages, and then we can work from there. So we're going to select spreads for now. Then you're going to go over to the side panel. We don't need to do anything with compression, but we need to do something with marks and bleeds. So you're going to go over here, and these are all different things that we use when we're printing. All different options is the best word, or selections, or however. For this one, you're going to select crop marks, and you're going to select bleed marks. What this does is this shows you where to crop the paper after we've printed, and this shows you where your bleed was located. Which I will show you once we export it, and you'll see on this one why the bleed is important, but on the bottom one you'll see how that works too on the PDF. Once you've selected those two, you need to go down here. I need to select Use Document Bleed Settings. This will give you the bleed that we set in the beginning, or the bleed that I set on this document when I came in. Then everything else should be fine. It's usually good to check this section back here, the summary, because anything that's going to cause problems will come up here in a warning box, which can save you some hassle. If there are no warnings, then you should be fine. This is all just information about your PDF, so you can come in and check like what settings you've done. So if we go under marks and bleeds, it'll tell me that crop marks are on, bleed marks are on, registration marks are off, color bars are off, so on and so forth. Okay, so there's no warnings, so you're good. You just clicked export. Now on my machine, this PDF is going to come up automatically. Yours, it may not. If yours does not come up automatically, what you will need to do is to open your file folder and go to the same thing. So I'm in rough drafts. Let's go to Virginia, and then this folder, and you can see right here is her PDF, which would bring up the same PDF we already have. So this is your crop mark. This is your bleed mark. So you can see there is a white border around this page. Now if we scroll down, this is what your spreads look like. And the nice thing about this is there's a line that goes down it on the top and bottom. So when we're folding these, you could take a ruler, or there is a flat bar you can get as well. Just anything that will help you to keep a straight line. And you can set this down and then fold the page over so you get a straight line down the middle, and you're not trying to do it like physically, which always seems to result with me in crooked lines. So let's scroll all the way down to the middle. So here you can see that where's my zoom? Hey, go back down. Don't be mean. Zoom in. Yes, so up up here you can see the bleed marks. So this is where her bleed is, and you can see, and then her crop marks, if you follow them straight down, go right along that edge. So basically what your crop marks do is that you can set a ruler down or a cutting device, and you can line up this top one. I don't know what this PDF is doing, but, and ignore that. Besides being wonky. Okay, so you can line this crop mark up and this crop mark down here on a cutter, and you will cut a straight line that will trim right along this edge. And give me one sec, because Nix is being a mischief maker. Come on, big boy. Ugh. You might be new, but you can't climb to the heights. All right? Here, why don't you sit there? Oh, I know. Life's horrible. You're living a plush life now. Yeah, you can look at that. Sorry. The same goes for the bottom. So we can cut here. Now with the bleeds, what this allows is it tells you how much space you have. So if you somehow get a bit of a crooked line here, you have this space between these two to cut a straight line. It's basically a safety space. So if the printer goes to trim, and they don't get it quite right on that crop line, they can always go clear to the bleed, because the bleed the inside of the bleed is the same size as your book is going to be. It also gives them the line where their book, where the size should be, so they can be careful and cautious as they're going in and not ruin something and have to reprint it. All right. So that should be everything you have to do. Once you're done, you can close it, but all your pages should have this. Your spread should have them over here, and there should be a line here. Always go through your PDF after you've saved it just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, that everything translated properly before you send it off. So normally what would happen is once I've saved this and I'm sure everything is good, I would send it to the printer and say, you know, like here's the PDF. Let me know if there's any changes or anything that needs to be fixed, and they'd send it back to me and tell me if there are problems with the crop, the bleed, if there was issues with the color, that kind of stuff. So that should be it. If you guys have any problems, please feel free to reach out to me to let me know. Um, and just we'll sort out the problem as we need to. Alrighty. Good luck, guys. Can't wait to see your finals.